It's just gone lunchtime. This is All Angles here on eNCA. Good afternoon. I'm Masekhora Hlacha. It is that time of the day when we give you an update on how far some of the stories we've been following up for you on Channel today have advanced. Here's your lunchtime update. Right, our reporters are out and about bringing you the latest on today's top stories. I'm joined by Slindelo Masigani in the Itireleng informal settlement that's in Centurion, and Heidi Jokos is in Johannesburg. All right, Sli, I'm going to start with you. Of course, the Laudium CPF says it will be laying culpable homicide charges against the two mothers who left their 5 young children unattended in a shack to apparently visit a nearby tavern. Meanwhile, the Gauteng MEC for Infrastructure and Informal Settlement, Lebogang Maile, was there as well. Tell me exactly what he had to say and what community members are saying.
Well, community members are looking for answers, and they are hoping that with this particular incident that the informal settlement will be receiving some attention from government officials. Like you said, we had the MEC for Human Settlements visiting the area to get an assessment as well as a report as to what happened. We do know, of course, that police investigations are still underway to determine the cause of the fire and, of course, whether or not anyone will be charged. We do know that over the weekend, it seems police, from what we're hearing from community members as well as the briefing from the MEC, that the women who are responsible for these children, the mothers of these children, were found in the early hours of Sunday morning at a tavern. At this stage, we understand that they are at the local police station. They are still being held and being questioned, but from some of the police officials I've been speaking to, we understand that they are quite traumatized themselves and are inconsolable. We've also spoken to the grandmother of these children, who also similarly quite devastated by what transpired. We've seen the aftermath, and we know that there are several shacks surrounding the one where the fire started that have also been affected. But at this stage, the local policing forum is looking for accountability, saying that what happened here could have been prevented. Let's take a listen.
People are angry, people are frustrated. This incident should not have happened. It could have been avoided if people obviously did not care about their own needs rather than kids, leaving the kids unattended. I've spoken to several people in the community today and yesterday morning, and the community is outraged. They want answers, they want to know what's happening. And in terms of my CPF, it is my responsibility as the chairperson of the CPF. CPF constitutes CPFC's community peace policing. Hence, my interest is both sides. And on our side, we will do everything in our capacity and capabilities to push the law enforcement to give the harshest in terms of sentences for these guys and charges. And I am proposing, in terms of, I'm meeting up with the station commander, the CPF have said yesterday in a meeting, and we don't want this negligence. We're going to push for culpable homicide.
All right, Heidi, let me come to you. Of course, you were with the Minister of Transport, that is Sindisiwe Chikunga, who was talking about PRASA and government fixing those particular issues. I wonder, what did she have to say? But are commuters, rather, Heidi, also believing that this time government will actually do what it promises when it comes to protecting the rail network?
Yes, so just to put it into context, Masejo, we do know that there are about 40 corridors with only 16 currently operating, or rather 18 currently operating, with another 16 needing to be fixed and repaired. This all went downhill, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, where we saw extensive vandalism and theft, and all this massive infrastructure that cost billions of rands really left unprotected. And these syndicates that have been operating at these rail network stations, going inside and vandalizing. I mean, some of the visuals that we saw today of what these train stations look like before and what they look like now, you cannot believe it. It's literally like chalk and cheese, how the actual infrastructure was ripped out of the ground. So it's definitely up to the Transport Department as well as PRASA to sort out the rail network. We spoke to some commuters today who indicated that instead of paying over 1,000 Rand to get from one area, for example, Tembisa to Germiston, they're now paying about 350 Rand a month, which is a significant drop given that they're paying about 10 Rand a day for their train tickets, where previously they were paying over 100 Rand a day for their tickets. So it's making a very big difference. But it's not all about just fixing certain rail networks. It's also about sustainability and whether or not the Department of Transport is going to be able to sustain this. As I've mentioned, billions of rands is being spent on security, internal security and external security that is being appointed to guard this infrastructure and to make sure that there is no further vandalism and theft of these rail networks and these corridors. We also know that technology is now being used, such as cameras aboard trains, and we also do understand that they will be starting to use drones just to make sure that they have tabs on every single corner when it comes to these corridors. Let's listen to what the Minister of Transport had to say about making sure that they sustain this level of service at these rail networks.
It shouldn't happen ever again that we find such damage happening. It should not happen. The measures that we're putting in place, the technology that we're trying to put in place, it should actually ensure that it doesn't happen. But remember, you are not dealing with just ordinary criminals here. You're dealing with sophisticated criminals who, as we plan, they are planning. Who, as we put, if we try to minimize the use of copper, for instance, as you have said here, but they are planning again to do whatever else. But we'll meet them head on. Should they come again, we're ready for them. Because honestly, it cannot be. It's too expensive for South Africa, and we can't afford it.
All right, we're joined now by Theodore Mashele, who is in Soweto for us. And of course, Theo, you're looking at part of our focus here on eNCA for today. And of course, Soweto residents and even Pretoria residents that you've spoken to go without electricity for months on end, not just the 2 to 10 hours a day that some of us experience. And I understand there's an issue with faulty transformers, etc. What are you finding where you are today, Theo?
Well, Masejo, right now I'm actually in Midrand because I came through to the Eskom Academy here to speak to an Eskom representative who's going to just also reflect on what is happening down there in Soweto. But earlier on, I was in Protea North in Soweto, where residents were left without electricity for about 2 months. And from what they're saying is that they did launch a complaint with Eskom, and they were told that there is a faulty transformer or something that is faulty within their electricity infrastructure there, but they couldn't have it fixed since most of the residents within the area had not yet paid their electricity bill. I spoke to an elder there who's actually a retired elder, and she was telling us just her challenges as to what she's going through with this being a problem there at her house, and this is what she had to say.
It frustrates me, especially the money that I have spent now, buying food, buying briquettes, charcoal, fire starters, things I've never used. My fridge is not working. I can't buy in bulk now because the food will get rotten. I must go and buy bread. And only 2 days, because you can't even freeze that bread. It will get rotten. Every day you think of, sometimes you don't even cook. I eat fish and chips. That's not good food. I'm a vegetarian. I must eat food that is cooked. I must eat my green veggies. I can't. I am frustrated as it is.
All right, that was your eNCA lunchtime update from all angles with reporters Slindelo Masigani, Heidi Jokos and Theodore Mashele. Thank you, team. Let's leave it there for now.